It's really hard to start this video without saying a bunch of jargon like creator and content and YouTube. But for a while now, I've been doing a podcast with my friend Steven, and we've been interviewing a bunch of creatives, and I've been getting to know a lot more people in the creative realm, whether it's photography or filmmaking or Airbnb or just finance, like all sorts of different niches on YouTube, Instagram, runners. And the common conversation I find myself getting into is, are you okay? Like, is everything okay with you in your personal life? And I've come to realize that in my educational endeavors and in the content that I make on my YouTube channel, there are things I love to talk about. I love to talk about photography skills and filmmaking stuff and editing and business and finance, and all those are amazing and great things to talk about and necessary things to teach and for people to learn if they want to start in a career like that. But at the end of the day, what I care about most is my philosophy, is why I do what I do, and making sure that my personal life is okay before my work. And so that's the constant conversation I find myself getting into with other people, and really kind of pulling back the curtain and seeing, like, outside of all of the frills and exciting trips and funny moments on a YouTube channel or an Instagram story, there are a lot of difficult things happening in people's lives. And I'm not making this video because there's anything profoundly difficult happening in my life. Truth is, I'm in an incredibly happy and joyful place in my life right now. And I think that's because I've been thinking about this stuff so intentionally the past year. Last year was arguably the busiest year of my life. I didn't want it to be that way. It just ended up being that way after 2020 had so many postponements. So 2021 was just like twice the work, and we had to have so many conversations in our marriage. My wife and I, Sabria, I set the expectation that it was going to be that much, that it was going to be twice the amount of work, because I had postponements with shooting weddings, and now brands wanted to do deals, and I postponed launching my course a whole year, and we still needed to do that. And all these things came up, and there was just this boiling point after my course with the relationships I had with my friends in my studio and my marriage. And I thought it was a good idea to go to counseling, to do therapy. And it just did absolute wonders for me. For, 3-4 straight months, meeting weekly with a counselor and hashing out all the relational stuff in my life and remedying all the hurt and all the pain and all the stuff that was kind of shoved under the rug throughout the previous months was all just brought to light. And I was able to talk to my friends and make sure that we were okay, and remedy things that I had done wrong, and ask for forgiveness and offer forgiveness for anything that they did to me. And the same, went with my marriage. And now we're at a place, we have 4 kids. It's chaos in our home, but there's so much more structure in my life with work right now, with just a consistent Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I'm not shooting as many weddings anymore, so I'm getting more weekend time with them. And even when I'm going on trips, I'm taking a whole day or 2 off before or after to just spend with the family. And my wife and I have been going on weekly date nights, and it's looking like we get to go on one tonight, and it's just wonderful and awesome. And I'm not saying that to gloat. I want to just open up to anyone who feels like this could be helpful for them in a season where, I feel like any given season in our society today, and with the marketing beast that is the internet, when it comes to creativity and being a creative and being an entrepreneur, it can be impossible to turn your brain off in figuring out what the next step is, who the next client is, the next connection you're going to make, the DM you have to respond to, the DM you're stoked about, the thing you got tagged in. Like, I've been wanting to make a meme video where I'm sitting on the couch and it's just in my head, like, all right, great. I've checked every single app on my phone and I'm up to date on everything. And I put the phone down and I like walk to the kitchen and I round a corner and I'm like, I wonder what people are doing on Instagram right now. It's just, it feels inevitable that our brain goes to those places all the time. And so that's a different conversation about like, you know, figuring out that structure in your life of, you know, when to put that stuff away and whatnot. But what I want to accomplish in saying and sharing in this video is I just want to challenge everybody and anybody who's watching this to just stop for a second and think about your life, where it's at right now, who is in it, who is most important to you in your life, and to really evaluate if you are spending the time necessary to cultivate the things that are going to last in this life. You know, if we've seen social media apps go through the cycles of being popular for, you know, 5 to 10 years and then just completely go away, and then a new one comes, and it can be so fruitless, if that's a word, the opposite of fruitful, and you know, always trying to build a following and grow a business on these apps. If it means that you are not spending the necessary time to cultivate yourself and the people around you and the relationships you have, you know, with your family, with your closest people. You know, something I talk about frequently is that business is, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're making money, if your family is reliant on the income that you provide, of course your business is important. Of course you need to spend time on it and cultivate it so that you can provide that income for the people that are dependent on you or the people you need to support. But at the end of the day, like on my tombstone, you know, I consistently try to think of what's going to be etched in that. Is it going to be super successful entrepreneur who traveled the world and had this, that, and the other? I have no interest in that being my legacy. I ultimately want that tombstone to say that he was a loving and generous husband and father and friend. And nothing that I do here on YouTube, nothing that I do in my business is beneficial to me if it's not cultivating what I care about most, and that is my family and the relationships in my life. So I've been wanting to make something like this. I didn't feel like it needed to be some sort of fancy short film, although that's not out of the question either. I feel like that would be really cool and fun to make, but I just wanted to take a second and slow down and just kind of share all these thoughts and just issue a little challenge to you if you haven't really thought about this stuff recently, or it's coming at a time in your life where maybe you do need to slow down a little bit or care a little bit less about, you know, the little rectangle in your pocket. So I hope you are doing well. If you're not doing well, reach out to the people around you. Talk to your closest people. Maybe call someone you haven't talked to in a long time to see if they can help. Maybe consider some therapy if that's an option for you. And yeah, please comment below if there's anything that I can do or say to help in any kind of season you're in right now. And I'll see you soon.